isn't actually streaming yet for a few seconds. And it won't show up on the internet for another minute or so. So it's kind of live when it goes out to the world. So welcome. It's Friday. It's time for our annual, boy, it's been a long time, hasn't it? Our weekly Friday Funnies, and we call it Friday Funnies because inevitably I misspeak myself and say silly things, and we're just trying to catch up with ourselves. This morning it's a different kind of a trial for some technical pieces. We're just continually trying to tweak it and see what we can get to work. I've got earbuds in right now, hoping that earbuds give us a better quality sound. I also have other people operating the system, and they will either make it work or won't. Of course, they're walking away from the iPad right now, so if I walk away from the camera, they won't adjust. Oh, well, that's the way it goes. Hey, it's Friday, and the weekend is upon us, and there's a lot coming up this weekend. Of course, our social hour is this afternoon at 4 o'clock. Bring your own beverage. Jan sent out an email, I haven't seen that for myself, but I suspect that email went out this morning. And when the email went, you will have seen contact information, login information about joining the group for social hour at 4. Sunday morning we have the Sunday Forum at 9, also on Zoom, again, also linked by the email that Jan sends out. The Zoom Adult Forum this week will talk with Donna Burklow about Family Kitchen. They've been doing really amazing work there during all of this suspension of in-person meetings. They're doing to-go boxes right now, but there's a whole lot more involved in keeping this operation going in the midst of so much turmoil. So I'm hoping that you'll be able to join us, talk to Donna, hear from Donna, talk amongst ourselves about this important and vital ministry in our community. Sunday morning, of course, we have worship at 10 o'clock, again on YouTube and on Facebook. So if you found this, you ought to be able to find that. Again, Jan has given you helpful link information in the email she sends out every Friday. And then afterwards, coffee hour. Coffee hour afterwards. Again, you have to bring your own coffee. Weirdly, I noticed this past Sunday, I realized, when was it? I think Wednesday morning, I realized I forgot coffee hour on Sunday. I did all the other stuff on Sunday. I went into my office. I think I had some email. I think I had some messages. I think there was something that distracted me. But whatever my excuse might be, I just forgot to show up for coffee hour. So I trust that those of you who went to coffee hour could talk amongst yourselves, which is of course the point of coffee hour anyhow. And then next week, all the usual sorts of things coming up. Today is celebrated in some segments of the whole community, and increasingly I think something that we all want to remember and celebrate. Today is Juneteenth. So I hope that you'll be taking a moment to ponder the significance of a day when an Emancipation Proclamation deferred was finally realized in Texas. I think 2.5 years after Abraham Lincoln's Emancipation Proclamation, word finally got down to some slaves in Galveston, Texas, and they were freed at last. It's striking to me, and I don't know that it should be, but it is still striking to me that the story of freedom and liberation, these stories are at the heart of our faith, the Old Testament, the story of a people enslaved and set free by their God, and of course the story of resurrection in the gospel. And it's with that in mind that I thought I would share with you this morning a poem, best read not by me, but by the poet herself, Maya Angelou, the poem Still I Rise. And by the way, if you're on our Facebook group, I posted a link to her reading this poem herself earlier today, and you'd be well served, I think, just to take a couple minutes to listen to her read this powerful, moving poem, which is the gospel. Still I rise. You may write me down in history with your bitter, twisted lies. You may trod me in the very dirt, but still, like dust, I'll rise. Does my sassiness upset you? Why are you beset with gloom? Because I walk like I've got oil wells pumping in my living room. Just like moons and like suns, with the certainty of tides, just like hopes springing high, still I'll rise. Did you want to see me broken, bowed down, bowed head and lowered eyes, shoulders falling down like teardrops, weakened by my soulful cries? Does my haughtiness offend you? Don't you take it awful hard, 'cause I laugh like I've got gold mines digging in my own backyard. You may shoot me with your words. You may cut me with your eyes. You may kill me with your hatefulness. But still, like air, I'll rise. Does my sexiness upset you? Does it come as a surprise that I dance like I've got diamonds at the meeting of my thighs? Out of the huts of history's shame, I rise. Up from a past that's rooted in pain, I rise. I'm a black ocean, leaping and wide, welling and swelling, I bear in the tide. Leaving behind nights of terror and fear, I rise. Into a daybreak that's wondrously clear, I rise. Bringing the gifts that my ancestors gave. I am the dream and the hope of the slave. I rise, I rise, I rise. Maya Angelou, still I rise. Best again to hear it in her voice. I'm not sure that a white guy can read that the way it ought to be read, and certainly not the way it ought to be heard. I'm going to ask that the people running the system here this morning keep an eye on things. I'm going to move around a little bit and see if they can follow me. And that's just playing with the toys some more. So if you tuned in for Friday Funnies for the announcements, and in this case maybe for a little poetry, that's great. You've heard all you came to hear. Now I'm just going to walk around, and walk with me if you want. So let me walk to the lectern and see how that looks up there, as if I were reading one of the lessons. This week, it's the first reading from the book of Jeremiah. O Lord, you have enticed me, and I was enticed. You have overpowered me, and you have prevailed. And then I might walk over here to the altar, and the microphone or the camera on Sunday mornings gets brought up a little closer so it's not as much a stretch, but you can zoom in back there and get at least a little bit of a close-up. Okay, and I can go, check and make sure the dust on the leaves is coming off. And I can just walk around. You could just track me with that system here. I think I'm still in the camera, the field of vision here. I could go further. I'm on the edge. Okay. I'm out. I'm out. I'm out. All right. Anything you want to play with while we're letting you run the show?